What is going on, you guys? Welcome into another episode of the Growth Grit Grind podcast. I'm excited what 2023 allowed us to do. Interviewed some awesome people at the end of 2023 when we decided to start this video podcast, and it's been really awesome. And we've interviewed people literally around the world now, which is really cool based on our last one that dropped. So what's coming up for 2024? Well, we've got some awesome guests that are lined up. We have several of them lined up for the beginning of January on into February, and we're going to continue lining those up. And they are business owners from all types and different paths, and so I'm excited to bring them on and have them be a part of this. Today gets to be another me episode, and I don't want to make it about me. It's just simply about what we do and how I see so many small and medium-sized businesses and large businesses fall into the trap of advertising and marketing, and how you can easily fix some of those things, in my opinion. And some of you may argue that. You may say, well, maybe easy for you, but it's not so easy for us. But I want to walk through just really the top few things that I have seen in small, medium-sized, and large businesses that could be affecting your overall outcome. At the end of the day, in my opinion, that's why I truly believe in what we do at Speak Loud Group, is that we truly are a partner with a business. We partner with them to ensure that whatever they're looking for, if they're looking to sustain kind of where they are currently and they want to make sure that they maintain that level of revenue, there's still a level of advertising and marketing that has to be done, whether that is working the email list or keeping people engaged. Or someone that's wanting to, continue to grow. They want to grow at a reasonable rate that they can manage. Well, then there has to be advertising dollars that are placed into that bucket to, whether it be on social media or it be with Google or wherever it may be, you have to be bringing in new customers. Or if you're trying to blow it out of the water, well, then we're spending money all over the place. We're going over to Google, we're going over to Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're pumping up SEO, we're building out retargeting campaigns, we're getting email lists being built. Like, there's so many different things that you can be doing. But I want to try to cover a few of those today, and I hope it's helpful, and I hope you can take something away from this. And please understand that this is not a pitch. Of course, absolutely, we'd love for you to hire us. We'd love to be the people that come in and help you solve a problem. But at the end of the day, I'm going to talk through some solutions that you could easily implement on your own. If you don't have the time for it and you don't want to mess with it and you want to trust a professional, or you don't have the resources to hire someone, and that's what the things that we're going to suggest, absolutely give us a call, and we'd love to have a chat about it. But let's just jump right in. Let's get going, guys. So the attempt that I see, number one I see is social media. And it's not always the first step. Typically there's a Google listing or a website that's built or something like that. But this is just one of the attempts. We're going to kind of walk down this trail. Trust me, we will get to all of them. So the attempt that I see, social media. And there's a lot of different rabbit trails that you can go down, but two of them in particular, we're talking about organic and we're talking about paid. Specifically about social media. We're not diving into Google or anything like that just yet, but you have two. You have the attempt being made at social media. It's being made on the organic side, and it's being made on the paid ad side. So on the organic side, you have companies that are either internally posting, and they're posting content and they're getting things out there. They're creating reels, they're creating stories. They're doing different things organically, or they have hired someone to generate that organic content. There's two different types out there. So you have some that they're kind of doing it internally. You have some that they've outsourced that, or they're doing a combination of the two. Here's the problems that I see that arise from organic. It's not going to move the needle for you immediately or right away, if ever. And I don't want to make that, and I just mean that in general. I don't want to be the doomsday guy, but when it comes to organic, your reach is so suppressed. Are there companies out there that are the anomalies or the unicorns? And do you have the potential to go viral organically? Absolutely. And are there things that you could do to create an organic campaign that could cause you to go viral? Absolutely. But the chances are slim and they're small, especially if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't have the people backing you, if you don't have a creative agency that's coming up with the video idea or the concept, or you're not working with a consultant to develop these things. If you're just trying to wing it and go out there and just create content, and like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, the reality is that organic is only going to take you so far. Now, I do believe in organic. I believe organic is a great thing for someone to be able to come in and see that your company is active, to see that your company has things going on, to see the contributions that you make, to see what possibly the energy is like, to see what the maybe you're trying to hire and they want to see what your company looks like in that aspect. I mean, I think there's so many different reasons for organic. However, I think that a lot of companies, a lot of businesses, they go and start social media and they sit back and go, well, I mean, there it is. We've got social media up. I mean, it's ready to go. We should just have customers pouring in left and right. People should be sending us messages. People should be claiming our offers. Like, what's going on? And the reality is that the reach isn't there. There are certain tips and tricks, obviously, Facebook, Instagram, both, for you to be doing short form content in a vertical style like stories and reels. Can reach a lot more folks. Using correct and relevant hashtags can reach more folks. TikTok is a whole nother animal. Both of those two things are true. Using the correct, relevant hashtags over there, using trending things while making them relevant to your business. That there's definitely some things that you can do to extend your reach. But again, you've got to get creative there. To just post a reel about your grand opening or just post a reel about your special or sale, it's not going to move that needle. No one's going to get excited about watching that video. You have to do something outside of the box. You have to get creative to be able to grab the attention organically. So that's the challenge I usually see with organic. Is I think that the misconception is that you can just start posting and you're going to gain followers. The reality is that's not true, at least not on a larger scale. Can you start posting and get to 100 followers or 1,000 or maybe even 1,500 followers or a few thousand? And are there anomalies out there that they grow to 10,000 or 20,000 or 100 or maybe a million? Sure. I mean, it does happen, but you look at the vast majority and they have 243 followers. And when they post, they get 2 reactions, 0 shares, maybe a comment. And they're wondering what's wrong with social media? It just doesn't work for my business. That's not true. It's absolutely not true. It's that you don't have a following. And 1,500 followers is not a following. 2,000 followers is not a following. It's a great start, but if you are in an area of, let's say you're in a city of a couple 100,000 people, if you can't get 10% of them to follow your page, that's what I would be shooting for. I'd be shooting for 20,000 people to be following my page. At a minimum, obviously we want to keep growing it, but that would be the first bar. So that's what I have to say about organic, is that I also think, and speaking directly to these companies and decision makers and business owners, is you can only expect so much out of organic. You can absolutely measure your followers from month to month. You can measure the engagement from month to month. You can measure the amount of content that you're putting out month to month. But to be able to measure realistically, this is how much sales were generated from social media organic, is going to be really difficult for you to measure, especially in the beginning. As you build out systems and processes and gain followers, and you do start seeing some of those sales trickle in from simply your posting. Absolutely, you need to track every single metric that you can possibly track. But when it comes to organic in and of itself, it's difficult for you to put all of your eggs in that basket. So moving forward, the other side of that, good and evil, whatever you want to call it, paid ads on social media. Paid ads, where I see the mistakes made here are number one, and I mean this as politely as I possibly can, it's just the reality. Most small, medium-sized business owners, they don't know what they're doing. It's just as nice as I can put it. They don't know what they're doing. They go and they see Facebook say, boost this post, or they see it on Instagram and it's like, boost this post. You could reach 5,000 more people for only $10 or whatever the pitches that they throw in front of you. And you go, why not? $5, $10, $20, whatever. Oh, here's $100. And you click that button and then you get to the end of it and you go, what happened? And you don't know, because you don't know really what to expect. You don't even know what the purpose was. A lot of times I talk to people that they don't even know what the targeting looked like. They just clicked the button and they just were like, okay, cool. 9,000 people saw this post, but I can't tell you anything that happened beyond that. Take it a step further. They'll watch a YouTube video. They'll sit in one of my classes. They'll do something to generate some level of knowledge. And then they'll go launch an initial campaign. And maybe they start it with the intentions of like, we're going to do an engagement campaign. We're going to launch this. It's going to be an offer. And then we're going to put it out there. And then we're going to turn that back around and we're going to retarget. And they have all these intentions. And it's like the buzzwords that they've heard, on YouTube or TikTok or in one of my trainings or something like that. And they go, oh, and hey, we found out that paid social media just doesn't work for my business. And Really. And these are conversations that I've actually had with companies from all over, that we just, paid ads don't work for us. Well, why is that? Well, back in, 2012, and I'm like, first of all, that makes me stop right there. Be like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're basing your entire company's decision based on something that happened in 2012. The internet has changed a whole lot since 2012. But, I'll let them continue. We ran this campaign and they'll walk me through it. What I see more often than not is number one, and then some people would argue with this, but this is reality from what we've seen, is number one is they never gave it a chance. And when I say never gave it a chance, well, we spent $100 or we spent, $1,000, or you may have worked with another agency and you may have spent thousands of dollars, may have spent tens of thousands of dollars, may have spent six figures, and you're going, no, it just doesn't work for us. The reality is that you trusted someone that maybe they should not have been trusted. And I don't mean that negatively, or I'm trying not to mean that negatively, is not every agency is built the same. We open with the idea of if we can help, then we are willing to take you on as a client. And that still kind of has stuck with us as we've grown and continue to move forward. If we feel like we can bring value, if we feel like we can provide a solution, then we're willing to take you on as a client. If we don't feel like we can provide you a solution, if it's just not a good fit, then we want to let you know that. We want there to be realistic expectations. And some of our clients, it's exactly that. We let them know from the very beginning, hey, I don't really know. Like, number one, you don't have a great budget. Number two, you don't have a great offer. I'm concerned, but I'm willing to run this if you're wanting us to. And let's go see what we can figure out. Let's go do some testing and figure out if we can't get this thing honed in. I would rather be transparent and honest with my client from day one than go, yeah, we're going to generate you 500 leads and, for $20, like just ridiculous stuff that you see on the internet, and you see some of these crazy lowball offers that if you think they sound too good to be true, the reality is they probably are. If you see anybody out there running like, we'll run your entire marketing campaign for $549 a month, like probably run from that guy. And I'm not trying to tout ours. I think that we're super reasonable for what we do. But at the end of the day, like if you see something that's too good to be true, and that really kind of rings true for all of life, run away. But back to the paid ad side, is I see companies give up way too quick. There's definitely things that have to happen. There's two sides of that coin as well. It's like you've got, people who try to do it on their own, and you got people who went out and hired someone. People who try to do it on their own, bottom line, simply really don't know what they're doing. They don't have the time to dedicate to it. Is running paid ads at a high level requires kind of constant maintenance. You're watching the numbers day in and day out to see how many people did we reach, how many people clicked, how many people liked it, how many people filled out the form, how many people clicked over to the website. Is the image still working? Do we need to swap it out? Is the video still good? Do we need to swap it out? What is the landing page doing when people get there? Do we need to fix that? Does it need more copy? Does it need less copy? There's just so many different metrics and so many things that need to be monitored on a daily basis that you doing it on your own is very, very difficult. And so you aren't even giving it its fair chance because you're judging it based on like you went over, even if you did it yourself and you did a really good job, you launched a campaign and you just let it go. And that was it. There was no optimizations. There was no monitoring. Even if you did make some minor tweaks to, targeting here and there, and that was more or less to try to save you money than it was to do anything else, you still did not give it its full chance. And if you hired an outside company to do that, all I'm asking you to do is do not base your business's decision on if social media paid ads can work for you based off of one occurrence, off of one person that you worked with. Is that talk to someone else. The reality is I'm going to go back to this, as I said, number one is that you didn't give it the time of day. Number two is typically the offer. Is that I have seen more terrible offers. I actually enjoy seeing ads, whereas most people get annoyed by them. I learn from them, and I enjoy watching them and seeing what people put out there. Because not only does it give me ideas and a lot of don'ts, not so many do's, but the reality is that you want an offer that is so good that when someone scrolls past it, reminding you of this, they're on social media. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on YouTube. They're on these different channels and all these different platforms to unplug from everything else. They're there to check up on what the family's doing. They're there to check up on what schoolmates, classmates, friends, acquaintances. They're there to unplug from everything else. They're not there to buy your stuff. They're not there to be advertised to. The reality of it is that it happens. So when they are advertised to, for them to take action, we want it to be something they would feel dumb saying no to. We want them to go, wow, that's kind of, I wasn't even here looking for that. But now I do want, a zebra print tank top. Like, I don't know. That's just what came to mind. Don't judge me. That's what we have to do. And I see most of the time, and it's something we tell our clients every single day. It's something we whiteboard with our clients. We're like, what is your offer? What are you, and we, to be quite frank, we have some clients that don't have offers at all, whether it be margins or just the way their business is set up is they are not in the position to create an offer. And that's okay. You can get away with, building value. In that instance, we do use a lot of humor. We shoot a lot of video and we use humor in that instance where we connect people and we're branding. We're constantly branding. We're shoving brands down people's throats. So that way, when the time comes to purchase, that they think of them. But in a normal campaign, we're looking at what is that offer. 10% off doesn't get me excited. 25% off doesn't really get me excited. Half off makes me feel a whole lot better and probably got my attention. But also something we try to express is perceived value as well. It's not always, you think of, if you buy this, you get this, and this for free. Or if you buy this at this discounted price, you get these 5 things for free. You've seen the advertisements for like carpet cleaning, where it's like every 3rd room or 4th room, 5th room is free, or the first 3 rooms are free. There's all kinds of like asterisks and things that are on the back end of like must clean 72 rooms before you get those 3. There's all kinds of crazy stuff typically on the back end. But that's the point, is like to get their attention and to make them stop whatever they're doing. I use the expression scrolling dog and cat videos. I use that a lot, but they're scrolling dog and cat videos. How do you make them stop? Well, that has some to do with your creative, whether it be a video or graphic. It also has something to do with the copy, and the call to action at the bottom is you have to do something. You have like a half a second to make them stop scrolling, because you've seen how fast people scroll. About a half a second. And you're wanting to stop them in their tracks. But then from there is, what is the hook? What is going to capture them and make them want to read more or to learn more? What are the pain points? What problems are you solving? What is the offer? And that's where I usually have seen so many things go wrong, and see so many ads, and that, we do consultative work as well. Not every single one of those folks come on as one of our clients. A lot of them do, because not only they hear our fix, they trust us at that point, they want us to go fix it. But we see that constantly, is that it's just an offer problem. Of course, there are so many different avenues you could go down there with targeting and stacking of targeting and retargeting, and most people don't even know what a custom audience is. They have no idea that you can build a lookalike audience. What in the world is a lookalike audience? Well, most of you, if you're in business, you have a customer list, and that customer list can be uploaded, and you can go to Facebook and you can say, hey, here's all of my current customers. And not only is that a custom audience for you to be able to target your current customers. Why would I want to target my current customers? Well, there's a lot of reasons why. I'm not going to walk through every single one of them here, but you want to stay relevant to your clients. And if you don't have an email list that's sending out on a regular basis, then maybe putting something in front of them on social media could be beneficial. Pro tip. But on the back end of that is you can also use that same list to create what's called a lookalike audience. And you can say, hey, Facebook, all of these people are my clients. I would like for you to go find people who are like them. It can be limited by a geographic area. It can be limited by certain demographics. But you can say, here's my list. And let's say your customer avatar, by large majority, was, women from the ages of 28 to 34 that like to shop at these 4 stores and that lived in this particular area. And they also liked these particular magazines. Well, then Facebook is going to go find people who look just like that. And the scary part of it is it's pretty accurate. And I say scary, I love every second of it. And it's all data and information that we've given. It's not like they're out there creeping and trying to find this information out and they've, dug it all up. Like, we've told these platforms this. We follow the pages, we check in at the locations, we buy the things at the store, then we go and follow them on social media. Like, we've told all of the internet this already. It's just they're combining that information to be able to build a profile. So there's so many companies that have massive lists that they're just sitting there. They're not even being utilized, let alone an email list, a blast that's going out to them saying, hey, thanks for being a freaking customer. We're not even getting to that. We're just talking about, the other things that can be done with these lists. So let's move on from paid ads, but that's a simple fix. Like I think that you just have to be aware and follow through and be willing to dedicate what can be dedicated to it. Don't be scared to put some budget behind some paid ads, and don't let past experience with paid ads dictate the future of your business being able to run. Because I'll tell you right now, and I know it from multiple over industries, that is the most cost-effective form of marketing and advertising that you could possibly do in today's age. Moving forward, the attempt, Google. And I will attempt to not be repetitive here, but there will be some things that have some crossover. So Google, and we're not diving into multiple sides of Google. We'll get to like the SEO stuff here in just a second. But Google, the attempt is, Googling. You're working on your business listing, Google My Business, whatever you want to call it, and paid ads. They're the two major things that are available to you on the Google platform. Your business listing. This is an area that I see that gets missed a lot. I don't know how many businesses that I've gone to call and the phone number is incorrect, or the website is incorrect, or the hours of operation are not correct, or they haven't posted anything in the last 10 years, or there's no responses to reviews. Everything that I just mentioned are all things that you should be doing. It's not very difficult. It's not very hard. There are also some automated things out there that you can do to respond to some reviews. I'm not a huge fan of those. I think you should have someone doing that. But there are some very simple things that, number one, your business listing needs to stay updated. If you change an address, you change a phone number, if the website changes, anything, hours, anything like that changes, it needs to be updated on Google. Google is where people are finding you. It's where people are looking for you. It all just needs to be updated. And it should all be updated and should be uniform across the internet. And we'll cover that a little bit in SEO, but it should be uniform across the internet. Bottom line. Your business listing is also a great place. You need to picture it as another social platform. The photos and videos and little 360 cameras and things like that, those photos and things uploaded to your Google My Business get tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views. And you may say, well, why is that relevant? Well, anytime that your business can get views, that's relevant. And if it's as simple as uploading some photos that you're already uploading to social media, but to upload them to your Google business profile, you're talking about an extra step. You don't even have to post a caption. You can just upload the photo. You can encourage people to leave you a Google review. This is something that is huge that I think it's a huge missed opportunity, as I see people walk in and out of businesses every single day, and they leave it on the table. Thanks for your business. Bye. Thanks for your business. Bye. And it's so easy to ask someone to, and I think that's the number one thing is we don't ask, and we don't tell employees to ask. We don't train staff to ask. And I don't know why. I think that sometimes we put it in an email or it's on the bottom of a receipt or something, but until we physically ask somebody, hey, if you wouldn't mind, maybe reference a little placard or something that you've got sitting out. If you wouldn't mind, would you mind leaving some Google review? It's really important to us for the next customer to hear from the previous customer what their experience was like with us. We really appreciate your 5-star review. I'm really big on saying 5-star review because there are some people who unintentionally will leave a 4-star. If one little thing, their doorknob was a little greasy when I walked in. So other than that, it was fantastic. Great people, 4 stars. I don't know why people do that. I don't know if they don't understand the what Google reviews do for businesses. I think some people do, the ones that obviously go in and do it in a completely negative way. But I would be asking, and even better than asking is I would have it automated. If you don't have a system to where you can either reach out to someone like us and provide us a list to send out for Google reviews, or automated where you can have it sent over and it automatically goes out, or even better, if you don't have a way for them to text, that's one of my favorite. It's the easiest, and people are so used to it now where they can text and say, short code, whatever that may be, review, and they text it to a certain number. And it's like, hey, thanks, here's the link to leave us, or, you can automate that process that way too. You can even have automated reminders go out to them. There's so many different ways that you can do that. Something we offer, a lot of agencies offer, a lot of standalone folks offer as well. But reviews. But make sure you're posting, post from time to time some updates there on Google. Make sure your information stays correct. If I were you, I would, once a month, realistically at least once a quarter, I would set a reminder on your phone or have send yourself an email that reminds you to go check your info on the Google My Business listing, and then batch some photos and things to go over there, so that way there's some updated activity. And again, reviews, asking for reviews. On the paid ad side on Google, I've seen this like really screwed up a lot before. Again, kind of similar to Facebook, a little more involved, a little more complicated, in my opinion. And it's a give and take. On Google, you do not have any creative at all. You're not having to come up with a video. You're not having to come up with a graphic. You're not having to do anything. It's all about the copy on Google. But just equally as important are the keywords. And I've seen where people don't really understand. Google is one of those, unless you get what you're supposed to be doing with keywords, you can just waste your money. Facebook, like I said, Facebook, Instagram is one of the most cost-effective platforms. You can go over there and kind of play around with $100, and you're like, okay, no big deal. On Google, you'll spend that $100 in a day, or an hour, depending on how aggressive you are. But if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to bidding on keywords, there are keywords that there's so many different ways to look at it. There are keywords that you can include. There are keywords you can exclude. You can do what's called phrase match. You can do direct match. You can do broad match. And probably some of your heads are already exploding right now. But what happens is people go in and they try to do what makes sense. If you're a plumber, you want people who are searching for plumbers. So you go in there and you type in, start ad, $10 a day, $20 a day, and then you type out a little copy, or you have Chat GPT. I know y'all are doing it. It's okay. You type it out and then you go, what keywords? Well, plumber near me, plumber in my area. You may even type a city name or something like that, but you're not getting very specific. You're not saying, are you using the broad match? Are you using a direct match? Are you using any of those distinctions to try to determine, like, to really narrow it and hone it in? Because you start getting all this off the wall stuff where you're like, I didn't even include that many keywords. Why am I showing up for that keyword? And it's because you just have it out there. You're going after all of these. You didn't hone it in enough. You didn't shorten the leash on Google ads. So if you give Google money, Google's going to spend money. Same thing with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, any of them. You give them money, they're going to spend that money. I guaranteed it. If you tell it, I want to spend $10 a day, it's going to spend $10 a day. If you go, will it spend $100? It'll spend $100 a minute if you let it. Got to go pretty broad to spend $100 a minute, but it can be done. So what I'm getting at is with the Google paid ads is that same concept, is that I hate to see businesses that have chalked up and gone, Google ads do not work for our business because of a previous negative experience. Google can get pricey, but here's what I want to separate the two, right? And this is a conversation I have, whether it be training or anything else, is that they're two totally separate things. Google can be more expensive, and typically is more expensive. It is more expensive. But you have the trade-off is on Facebook. We already talked through that. Or I keep saying Facebook, but social media. Social media, people are scrolling. They're looking at dog and cat videos. They're checking up on the nieces, nephews, cousins, grandparents, whatever. They're not there to buy your stuff. So you're intruding into their daily life, into their unwind, their relaxed time. You're intruding. But your offer, if it's good enough, or your creative is compelling enough, or funny enough, whatever it may be, they're willing to stop and listen. So you can get that traffic, those eyeballs, for a lot cheaper because they're not looking for you. It's completely cold. It's a cold lead outside of maybe you building in some targeting. Maybe they look like your previous customers. Could they be warmer? Yeah, they might be a halfway warm lead just because they're in your kind of demo of who you're looking for. But the reality is you don't know if they need a plumber or not. You don't know if they're looking for a contractor, a dentist, a marketing company. You don't know. On Google, you know, and that's the difference. So if over on Facebook, I'm getting leads for $7 a piece, and I'm pretty ecstatic, and I sit back and I go through them. I'm like, well, not all of them were great leads. There was some good ones in there. We closed some business. But the reality is not all of them were great. So how many times did I spend $7 to get one that was good? Maybe 10. I don't know. It varies, right? Just like anything does. But you say it's $70. $70 was the cost to actually get that good one. Over on Google, every single one of them that ideally are clicking to call or to fill out a lead form, they're ideally your customer. Now, they may still be shopping or looking at price or things like that, but they're a warm lead. If they're searching for a plumber, they're looking for one. If they're searching for a real estate agent, they're looking for one. If they're searching for marketing and advertising help or a marketing and advertising agency, then they're looking to hire one. Then it's our job kind of from there of like, do we fit each other? Can they afford us? Do we want them as a client? Do we service their area? I mean, all the different things. We service all over the place, but plumbers are a little different. Real estate agents are a little different. So it's up to you. But this is the two sides. Is like that's why Google and Facebook are, Google and social media ads are two totally separate things. That you have a warm, targeted lead that's absolutely looking for your services. Over on Google, they're going to cost more. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of those platforms, social platforms, they're not looking for you necessarily. They might be, but we don't know. They're in your demo. They live in your area. They shop at the places that they should shop to be one of your customers. You're cold targeting them. So that's the differences. But Google paid ads, again, same concept I gave you guys with social is don't give up on them just because you've had a bad experience. And I'm not saying that and encouraging you to just go spend more money. I'm saying do it in a positive way. A lot of times I see companies trying to do this on their own, or they completely stay away from it, and they're really missing out. They're missing out on an awesome opportunity, paid ads. And some people have the adage of like, well, I don't ever want to get on paid ads because it's like coke, it's like drugs. And if I get on it, then I'm never gonna be able to get off it. Well, then that may be a good thing. That drugs are not a good thing, obviously. But it may be a good thing if you're able to get on paid ads and you're able to sustain it. If you're able to turn $1 into $4 or $1 into $6 or $1 into $8 or sometimes $1 into $2, why would you want to turn that off? And that's usually my point, in my opinion, is like for a contractor that you can go and put money in and turn it into a $15,000 or $20,000 job that you have a 40% margin on. Why would you not want that lead? Why would you not want to keep that machine going? If anything, why do you not want to add more fuel to that machine? That's my thing. SEO. All right, we're at SEO now. SEO, there's really three main things we'll talk about with SEO. You've got your website, and I mean your website itself. You have backlinks and citations, and then you have blog. Those are the three main things we're going to talk about today. And we'll jump in right now. SEO website. This is probably the top of the line, or top of the starting point, really, is you have your website, and if you have not done, or your web designer has not done the things to optimize your website for SEO purposes, then you're missing out. How exactly does this work? Essentially, in the easiest way I can explain this is that your website is made up of code and text, and when Google crawls it, it does not see your website for what it is. It sees code and it sees text. And so if you have, we're going to go with a plumber example. If you have a picture of a plumber cleaning a toilet, snaking a toilet, let's call it that, not cleaning, but snaking a toilet to clean out a drain. When Google crawls it, it sees it for whatever the image name is. If it's, if you have it named as image7456.jpg, that's what Google sees. And this is simple SEO. If that picture, if the metadata in that picture has not been worked, and you can go in and actually say plumber fixing a drain in a single family home. Like there's all this stuff you go out and write and explain what that picture is. Simple, easy things to do. Headings in your pages, subtext in your pages, from menus, headers, subheaders, the actual content that is on your page. There's all these different things that you could do and should have done on your website to help your website rank. When you're looking at Google and going, why am I not ranking? My first question usually to you is, what keywords are you ranking for? And when I say ranking, I don't care if you're ranking for page 5. I just want to know, that's not good. We want to get you up a whole lot higher than that, but I need to know where are our strongest points, even if they're not very strong, where are our strongest points and what can we build off of? Next, I want to know, what are people actually searching for? When people are searching for my company or things that my company does, what are they actually searching in Google? And there are tools that you can use to determine what exactly people are searching for. And that is the content that you want to build your kind of site around. That's the questions that you want to answer. And there's a bunch of different things. You can even go, one of the tricks that sometimes I say tricks, a lot of people know, but you can do. You can go over to Quora, where people ask a whole lot of questions, and you can type in what your industry does, and there's going to be a list of like the top 5 or top 10 questions there that people have been asking. Answer those questions on your website. It's fairly easy, fairly simple too. It's not a huge leap there, and most of industries are going to have some type of questions that are being asked over there, from computers and technology to plumbing to remodeling to even marketing and advertising, what we do. So try that out. But your website is one of the places that's where you want to start, is that you want to look and you want to know how you're ranking, if you're ranking, what are those keywords, and what can you build on. Backlinks and citations. Backlinks are exactly what they sound like. They are links back to your site. There are a lot of different ways this can happen. And that you can make this happen is that you can have people that you do work with, that they list you on their website as a resource. And it says, so-and-so attorney, here's the, link to their website. Or this is our, premier plumber backlink. This is our marketing advertising partner backlink to SpeakLoud Group. That's a backlink. You can buy packages of backlinks where you can be listed on different things. It is a give and take. There are some advantages to doing that. There are also some disadvantages, is that you are going to pay to be in places that may not make the most sense. If you are a contractor, why would you be listed in baby clothing backlinks? On a website that lists, there are some of these out there. There are websites that are essentially directories, and that they list all these different things. I'd be very cautious and just be aware of what those backlink services look like. If you're not sure, you should hire someone professional. Somebody like us or anyone else that does what we do. And there are specifics you can go to Fiverr. And I'm not trying to put myself out of work. I'm just trying to be honest. Like, I know where a lot of you are as business owners. You're looking to spend money effectively, but also remember, you get what you pay for. Backlink citations are a little bit different. They're still essentially kind of a link or a backlink, but their citations are a little bit more. A full citation would be your entire business listing information, phone number, address, business name, mailing address, phone number, any other contact information you have, fax if you still have that, email, website, things like that. A full, essentially, directory listing is what kind of citations look like. Similar to backlinks, this can also be purchased, or you can also work that. There are different networking things out there for you to be able to get these different citations to where you can be listed, and then you would list them, and you have like these little mini directories. Think of like a Yelp. A Yelp has like listings, things like that, but that is a backlink and a citation. That is what it is. The more backlinks and citations that you have in combination with other things, ratings, reviews, SEO, where you're doing on your website, you can increase your rankings and increase your search engine optimization through backlinks and citations. Essentially, you look more trustworthy, or that's how Google would interpret it, is that you look more trustworthy because you are listed, you are an authority, is probably a better way to put it. You are an authority in your space because you are being talked about, you are mentioned, people are pointing at you going, this person, looking for this person. And that's the power of backlinks and citations. There's a lot more there that we could dive into for a whole lot longer, but I'm trying to keep this reasonably around an hour, if not shorter. But that is, if you do not know what backlinks and citations are, that's something to explore for your website and for SEO purposes. Next is a blog, and this is one I think that's kind of often, missed over. Blogs have been around for a really long time. There are a lot of people out there that are killing it on blogs. There's a lot of people making great money doing blogging. We talked to Carrie Lindsay from Carrie L. That's where her journey started, was with a blog. So my screen kind of looks like it's crooked. Blog's like, it looks like it's blogging. But the reality is that it is another opportunity for your business to put content out that is in a different format. We talk about social media, and there's imagery and videos, and Google has text-based with people leaving reviews, things like that. A blog is a great place for you to be able to put out longer form content. It's still something that's shareable back to social media. And there are different types of people consume content different ways. Do not assume that your audience only likes short form content. Do not assume that your audience only prefers video. It would be unwise to assume anything about your audience. As you gain more data on your audience, and you're able to determine that this is where they consume most of the content they're on, Instagram more than Facebook, things like that. Absolutely, you can tweak your strategy and do things like that. But as you're growing and building, I would just be very careful of putting your audience in any type of box that you're not 100% certain of. So when it comes to blogging, And there are, again, this is something you can internalize. You can have a writer on staff. You can do it yourself. You can outsource this. You can go hire ghostwriters that will write up content for you based on prompts and different things that you're able to give them. But a blog is an inexpensive, easy way to continue plugging away at your SEO. Again, all of these things that we're putting out there, anything that I've talked about today, paid ads would be the only one that could provide any type of instant gratification. And I'm not saying that to put paid ads on a pedestal. I'm just letting you know that when it comes to organic, it's not going to be instant gratification. It's going to take time. It's going to take building. It's going to take patience. It's going to take some money, and it's going to take some patience. Again, I'm going to say patience twice there because it probably needs to be said. Same thing with SEO. SEO is not an overnight fix. SEO is something that if you didn't do it right in the beginning, or if it's not working like it used to, and you've got to, I don't want to say start from scratch. It could just be simple minor tweaks and changes. It's going to take time for that SEO to really take shape. But you beginning to do these things can make the world of difference. If you don't start now, in 12 months or 24, 36, and you wished you would have, where would you have been if you would have actually started doing these things then? I personally, when we build these different looks out for different clients and different companies, is I would like every company that we ever talk to adopt a entire encompassing approach. Is I would prefer someone to go, we need organic for the long term and for the reputation and for people going and looking. And, like think about it, you see an ad, but then you click over their page and they haven't posted anything in 2 years. And some people do that, when they see that ad, well, before I give these people my money, like I'm going to look into who they are and what they've been doing. And they haven't posted in 6 months, 12 months, 3 months, whatever it looks like. And you're like, that's a little sketchy. It makes me leery. And I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. I shop the same way. So what I would encourage and what I try to encourage other clients to do is create a total approach, is that you need organic, whether it's our team doing this, you doing it yourself, or someone in your office or staff that you're hiring, or a combination of those two things. Is you need a total approach, is that you need to have that organic content that's being put out there. And it needs to be put out in different formats. It needs to be graphic based. It needs to be text based. It needs to be video based. You need to have that going on. You need paid ads going, ideally on all platforms. I say all platforms. Primarily, if I were going to have to give you a start without knowing what your business is, Meta would be the starting point. So Facebook and Instagram. There's opportunity all over the place for TikTok. There's opportunity all over the place for YouTube. There's opportunity all over the place for Twitter. It depends on your industry and who you're going after. LinkedIn, there's a lot. There's a lot of opportunity out there on these different platforms that would be utilized in different ways. But when it comes to paid ads, great starting point is typically Facebook and Instagram. You need that going. You also need a great SEO program, and you need a Google Ads program. If you have the budget to do all of these things, you should be doing them. And not saying every company does, but when you're looking at this, you look at the different angles that make up a great marketing and advertising program. This is it. Your organic being pushed, paid ads are pushing people into that organic content. So you pay for them that initial time. It gets them over to your pages. And then now they're exploring, they're looking, they're digging, whether they filled out your lead form initially or not. Now you have them in your ecosystem. Now you're also kind of tracking with them as they go and visit different things. Then like you're getting them back over to your website. You're getting them on your newsletter. Like it's a full machine that is out there working, versus you saying, I just want to run Facebook ads, or I just want to do organic content. I want to post organic content and I want it to change the face of my business. I'm going to tell you that it's not possible. And I've had to tell clients that. And it's a tough conversation to have, but you just have to give them, again, realistic expectations, because if they look back at us in 3 months or 6 months or 12 and they go, whoa, what are we paying you for? I don't want that conversation. I want to have that conversation from day one. I want to say, look, you're hiring us to do organic and organic only. Realistically, in 12 months, X, Y, and Z. I want to give those proper expectations, because I know that this is what the outcome is likely going to be. Are we going to grow the following? Sure. By what number? I'm not sure. I can give you an estimation based on what we've done in the past, but the reality is it going to change your business in 12 months? Is it going to revolutionize? Is it going to increase your profit margins? Is it going to dramatically change your way of life through organic content only? Probably not. But paid ads is one of those that can create an impact right away. And because of that, you're able to generate revenue or generate leads, and then that leads to generating revenue. And then you go, oh, okay, wow, this is really good. And then it can open up the doors to doing some of these other things. Then people come back to us and go, okay, now let's go ahead and roll out some Google as well. And we're going to roll it out for a different program. We also need to get some SEO stuff going. It opens up those doors. So I'm not telling you which way you should go. Every business is a little bit different. You need to have a consultation, bottom line. You need to talk to somebody like us or a consultant on the outside. If you don't even plan on hiring anybody, but you want to just consult with them, do that. Talk to them and figure out which, again, it's based on your business and who you're targeting and what you're trying to do as to where we would tell you where to start. So the solution, we've talked through kind of a lot of them. I've tried to give you as many examples as I could on kind of some things that we saw, that we see a lot that can be fixed. But the solution is pretty simple. You only have 3 options. You can DIY it, you can do it yourself. And there are a lot of you that are, the certain size right now of a company that is what makes the most sense. And that's totally fine. I mean, if you're doing it, here's what I'm going to suggest. And here's the warning that I would give is just do not base every future decision your company makes when it comes to marketing and advertising off of the efforts that you are putting in. I think that's fair. Is that the reality is that you have a million other things going on. You're doing a million other things for the business, like working in it, working on it, working for it. You're just in it. And so for you to roll out SEO, or for you to roll out a blog, or you to roll out paid ads, it's not a fair judgment on any of those things, how you measure its success. If you're doing it at a very high level, then that's a little bit different. Then I think that you can judge it a little bit, but I still think it's not completely fair because there's no way that you are giving it the full attention that it deserves and probably needs to be judged in that way. So if you are doing it yourself, kudos, first of all, because it's something we do every day and we know how difficult it can be. But secondly is I would say set a goal, get yourself to a point to where you can hire someone dedicated in your office is what I mean. Is that you can hire someone to take those things from you and not someone that is inexperienced, not someone that had one viral video, not someone that, well, I'm a college student, so of course I know what social media is, so you should hire me. I would say someone that's been vetted, someone that you've seen some of their work. I think that you can absolutely find a college kid that would be great. That they do know what they're talking about. They may not know to the extent of what you'd like them to do, but for them to take simple tasks, specifically, posting and managing and replying to comments and maybe dabbling in ads a little bit, sure, I think you could find that person. Thirdly, hiring staff for your office can be expensive, and to be honest with you, that's where we fill the gap, and other people like us fill the gap. Is the cost for most of our clients to hire us? It's less than a part-time employee. So it just makes sense that they can get the best. It's kind of like it's a little bit of a sharing program, I guess. It's the best. It's not, but it's one of the easiest ways to describe it is that you are hiring true marketing and advertising professionals that know what they're doing, that have a team of people that are capable of doing it. But you're sharing them. You're sharing them with other companies and other folks, so that way you're not paying the full price. No one would want to individually pay our individual hourly rates, but if you split that up between a bunch of companies, then it makes a whole lot more sense, and that's really how outsourcing makes sense. So it's really up to you. There are some companies that they want, and when I say control, I don't mean it necessarily in a bad way. Control can be a very good thing. As there are some companies that don't want to outsource it to us because they want someone in a seat. They want someone in an office that they can either go chew out or talk to creatively or have a powwow with and not have to hop on a Skype call or whatever. I get it. Totally get it. There are some people that don't care. The world that we live in, the work environment that we're in, specifically after COVID, and how people learned how to communicate in a totally different way and make things work. And people have been doing this type of work for long before COVID. But it's just the way we work, is that we can have as many collaborative sessions as we need to have with the folks that we work with. We can fly in, they can fly in. It doesn't matter. We're able to have these sessions. Everything that we are capable of doing, can be done 100% remote, especially if there's no like video work that needs to be done. And even the video work, in most cases, depending on what we're trying to shoot, either we can fly in and do that, or we will have a team on the ground that's there. We're going to outsource some work. If that's the easiest way to put that, is we're going to, we've worked with teams that are not in our area, that, they're in other areas that we've secured a project in that either I'm not going or our team from here is not going. But we will hire someone, and yes, we vet them. We make sure that their work is where we need to be. We make sure they understand the project. We make sure our client feels comfortable with them, that our client knows who's coming. They know where they're going. All of the things, that's my job to coordinate. But that's us outsourcing, just like we're saying outsource that. So, and it works the same way for you guys across the board. Is when you're looking at, you're going, okay, if I was going to hire someone to sit in my office, that is a true marketing and advertising professional that is capable of building out and managing a digital campaign to this magnitude that encompasses organic and paid ads on the Google side, on the social media side, also blogging, everything SEO. What does that look like? I mean, in your head, think of a number. What does that salary look like? I mean, a true professional, I mean, it's 6 figures. I mean, can you find somebody that would come in for, I don't know, 75 or 60? I don't know. I haven't shopped for that person. But in my head, someone that truly knows what they're doing, that's an executive, that's a director of marketing, or a CMO. Like, that's someone they have the experience to deliver results, and they're gonna charge what it's worth. And so you look at that and you go, okay, are we in a position as a company to go and pay that person? Let's just call it 100. Okay, and they're probably not, $100,000 chief of marketing or chief digital officer or whatever title that you want to put on it, or marketing director. They're typically not the one to execute all of it. There's probably additional expenses. They're going to outsource some work still. They probably need a team, honestly, to like, this person's going to handle this and this person's going to handle, it's probably more, but let's just say they were able to do it all for 100. Can you afford it? Does it make sense for you guys? Some of you, yeah. Some of you have already done it. But when you go and you look at, our team, and you go, okay, and again, it's not a complete advertisement for us, is there are tons of agencies like us that do exactly what we do. But when you start splitting it up and you go, what is it to hire that team? What does that look like? What's the difference in the DIY versus hiring staff versus outsourcing? Well, the reality is that, you're looking at probably a third of what you would spend on the employee. Something like that. It's give or take. Everybody needs something different. Because nothing changes on the ad spend side. If you're running ads, you're going to pay that person's salary and pay for ad spend. If you're running stuff on Google, you're going to pay that person's salary and pay for ad spend. It works the same way with us. You're going to pay our retainer, and then you're going to pay for ad spend. It doesn't really change a whole lot. But the reality is that we should be able to, in a perfect world, accomplish the same things, but do it for a fraction of the cost. We're not trying to put those CMOs and folks out of business. We're trying to bridge a gap. Is that there's certain companies out there that they can't afford the 100,000. They couldn't afford the 75. So they're looking for a solution that's somewhere, that's effective, that they can make it work within their budget, and they can continue to grow. And they may never grow to the point of wanting a CMO. They may stick with us forever, and we're fine with that. Their services may evolve. We may do more for them, and that's okay. Our team for them can grow, and that's okay. But I hope that this was somewhat helpful. I hope that this opened a little bit of perception or eyes. And I do all of this because I truly want to see small and medium-sized businesses win. And that's the entire reason I take time out to do this podcast anyways, and to interview people and to set up the interviews and do those things, is that I want to see small businesses win. It's the reason why we started our agency. Like, literally, this is one of our slogans right here. We make other people famous. Like, that's why we started our agencies. We wanted to see small and medium-sized businesses and large businesses win. We want to see those people win. And we know that the difference between winning and losing can be marketing and advertising. The difference between being open, staying open, growing and expanding, and shutting down or downsizing is marketing and advertising. So that's the decision that we made. That's why we went in the business that we went in. But that's why the podcast is here, is that I'm hoping that through hearing some of these are things that I do every single day. My team does every single day. And not everybody knows these things. And sometimes they're sitting back and they're spending and wasting money on Facebook and, Instagram. They're clicking that, update this and click that. And they're just spending money they don't know. Or they have someone sitting in their office that doesn't know what the hell they're doing either. And they're wasting their money. You got somebody in there that thinks they know Facebook ads or Instagram ads or SEO or anything. And before you know it, you're going back and you wait 6 months or 12 months and you go, hey, can I get a report on like what we've spent our money on? Like, I know I gave you $10,000 to go, throw at Facebook and Instagram or whatever else, but what's been going on? And they don't have an answer for you because they don't really know what they're doing. So I'm hoping that you may hear this and you may go, that sparks an idea. I want to know that. I need to dig into that. I need to find out more about that. I need to stop the bleeding, or I need to do it in a better way. So I hope that these maybe give you some keywords even that you could use and go back to your team and say, hey, I was watching this thing the other day and this guy was talking about SEO and he was talking about Facebook ads and he was talking about this and that, and maybe spark some questions and maybe spark some ideas that you can go implement, because digital marketing and advertising is an incredible tool that can be used for your business. And I hope that this was helpful. Guys, like I said, we have some really cool guests that are coming on in 2024, and I'm ready to get those things started. Thank you for tuning into this. Do us a huge favor. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, would love to have you over there. If you haven't liked this video, would love to have you do that. Do us a huge favor, you can share it as well. Whether you want to go share it on social media or wherever else that you would typically share it, we would really appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.